finally here. Opening playbook, we're ready to roll. Daily moves that fire up your soul. Strategy sharp like a razor blade. This is where the big plays are made. Oh, charts are lighting up the morning sky. They spot the trends with a hawk's eye. Options and plays in a live display. This is where the big plays are made. Oh, charts are lighting up the morning sky. They spot the trends with a hawk's eye. Options and plays in a live display. Every move counts in the game they play. Opening playbook, we're ready to roll. Daily moves that fire up your soul. Strategy sharp like a razor blade. This is where the big plays are made. Oh, step by step they break it down. No confusion, no spinning around. With every trade they set the tone, making big calls from their trading phone. Opening playbook, we're ready to roll. Daily moves that fire up your soul. Strategy sharp like a razor blade. This is where the big plays are made. Oh, this is where the big plays are made. Oh. Opening playbook, we're ready to roll. Daily moves that fire up your soul. Strategy sharp like a razor blade. This is where the big plays are made. Oh.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the opening playbook for Friday, February 13th. I hope everyone is having a good morning and is not very superstitious about the date and day of the week combination. I don't know if that's a real thing for anybody or not, but don't subscribe to it myself. Nathan and Graham should be here any moment now, and we will get started in just a minute. Matt, starting last week, I think it was, Nathan's going to be doing what he calls Focus Fridays, where he's doing a deep dive into a particular ticker. We kind of completed the series of beginner jumpstart classes that we wanted to do, so we're shifting gears on Fridays, but all of them are available in the $1 opening playbook members area if anybody wants to see them. And if anybody has any topics that they want to cover on a future day, we can try and work that in. Hello, Nathan.
Hey, how are you?
All right.
All right. Let's see if I can pull up my screen here. Big day, busy day, as always. A lot going on today. Let's start off with where the overall market is. And then Graham and I were talking about Bitcoin, so maybe I'll let him jump in and talk about that for a minute before I get into our deep dive on Walmart. Walmart is our stock, one of my favorite stocks. I'm glad it won the vote because I wanted to talk about it anyway. So we'll talk about Walmart, do a little bit of a deep dive. I also got a couple other cool things to show you within that kind of dashboard deep dive, whatever you want to call it. Spotlight, that's the word I'm looking for. And then we have our members only class at 2:30 today. So lot going on. All right, Here's where we opened up today. Small caps getting a little bit of life back in them with RSP. We've seen these two correlate together quite a bit lately, which makes sense. But the big winner, Bitcoin, making a jump. We have some life on that, like 6-to-1 trade or whatever we ended up taking the other day. So we'll see if that can follow through here. I think Graham will talk about that a little bit more in a moment. Sectors, a lot of kind of mushy middle here. XLK technology about break even. Staples actually pulling back a little bit right now, but pretty small. And then we've got healthcare, industrials, utilities moving in the right direction. Well, that is if you're bullish and you like when things go up. And then we've got our heat map here. Applied Materials, huge win on earnings, big kick up. ANET, one of Graham's favorites, moving up as well. And then you see Mark, been a beast, had that big pullback, starting to ramp up. Eli Lilly, monster. Novo Nordisk, another healthcare stock. You know, those healthcare stocks are really kicking into high gear. On the downside, not a whole lot of outsized moves to the downside. Schwab's down a bit. Micron, couple other financials. So actually pretty decent look right now at where we are overall. So I'd say right now, as we have been saying for a long while, we're kind of in the middle of no man's land still. Until we can get some direction, which I would say probably have to be a break all the way below 675, kind of like what Chris and I talked about on the SPY to create some open space to the downside, or really all the way above 700. So it's a huge range of no man's land, in my opinion. And until we make a move with some momentum through one of those zones, I would say not a whole lot of directional bias there. But anyway, what do you think about Bitcoin, Graham?
Well, first off, I got a couple things to cover. Whoops. S&P, like Nate was saying, we are sort of in no man's land, but if you look at the very, very extravagant indicators of the 100-day moving average, 50-day moving average, and 200-day moving average, you can see we are right back at this 100-day moving average, which is that world that we like to typically bounce from. We've seen it a few times over the last, year or so. Probably if you go back longer, you'll see it over and over again. CPI this morning came in better than expected. Markets initially popped. Actually, I'll flip just to a 15-minute chart. So here was our big whopping pop on good CPI. I think the markets, S&P went up maybe 0.2%. They were down 0.2% prior to that. And then we saw that quick flush at the open, minus 0.5%. But again, right here, just finding support at this 100-day moving average. Now, I told you guys, let me find this deck. On Tuesday, my analysis was that we are right here. If you look at the seasonal aspect of a new Fed chairman coming in, we are right here in this range. So we are February, March, April, May, 3.5 months out. So right in here where the chop kind of continues, maybe for another 2 weeks. But typically we get very, very bullish in the stock market, about a 5% move higher over the 3 months leading into the Fed chairman coming in. So that starts in a week or two, technically speaking. So that's why I gave you this analysis of, hey, we may see some more chop, but I'm getting very bullish for another leg up here really soon. So now we'll see, can we hold this line? If we hold this line and move higher immediately from here, I think we're going all-time highs. I think we are going to see a 5% move. If not, let's flip to the weekly. We have a pretty good ways to fall here to get to the 50-day moving average on the weekly at 632 on the SPY. If we look here, I would bet that we'd probably be more like the 645 range where the 200-day moving average is. But so far, not a terrible. I was worried, Nate. I'm going to be honest. I was worried this morning when we immediately flushed through. I said, oh no, we may be seeing cracks in the foundation and going lower. But so far, holding steady here at the open. With that said, Bitcoin, it may be a dead cat bounce here, but Bitcoin is up 3.8% overnight. If we look at some of the Bitcoin-related stocks, Hood, which I love Hood. I love Robinhood. I don't love the app. I don't use it. Probably, maybe eventually I will. But Robinhood is an amazing stock. I believe personally that this one has 300, 400% upside over the next 5 years, especially at these levels. Now, right now, it's trading very correlated to Bitcoin because it does have Bitcoin holdings. So this is one that may chop around for another few months until Bitcoin really starts to heat up again in that pre-halving cycle. But Hood is one to take a look at. Now, with that said, it is Friday, so we are going to do the gold income trade really quick, and then I'll talk briefly more about Bitcoin. So if you've been following along with the gold income trade, each and every Friday, man, I got to scroll through a lot of strikes. Each and every Friday, we come here, we look at the 50-day moving average, and we say, let's go a month out and try to collect $100 if gold goes up, flat, or even slightly downwards. Now, the 50-day moving average has moved higher, which will make our job easier. We'll look around those 424 strikes and see what the premiums are. And that's a pretty
Graham,
perfect.
I'm glad you are doing a trade because Ivan was tough crowd. After 5 minutes, he was very disappointed that we hadn't given any trades yet. So Ivan, we're getting a trade to you, my man.
Yes, Ivan.
It took us 8 minutes of opening playbook, but you are getting your trade, sir.
Your request has been answered. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look to trade this gold bull put credit spread where, again, gold can go higher, it can go flat, and it can fall as much as to 424, which is about an 8% in drop in gold over the next 30 days. As long as it doesn't go below there, we should see our full credit. Now I'm going to shoot for $500 here. It's trading at 20-cent credit. Use a limit order. The bigger the number, the better for you. So this is just right at the 50-day moving average. We'll see if it'll fill. If not, we can always adjust higher. Man, not a ton of liquidity in these gold strikes today. So just be patient with it. Don't settle for a 10-cent fill. Alrighty. So back to Bitcoin really quick,
Just still ripping, by the way.
which is still going. Again, is it a dead cat bounce? I don't know. We could see it in the leg up. Jeffrey called for a leg up on Bitcoin. He said he thinks we're going to go back to 70, 80K range here in the near term.
That's what I have a couple trades for 75K in the next 6 weeks or so. So that's what I'm hoping for as well.
Now we are in that post-halving cycle where Bitcoin peaked every single time. I've shown you guys this a few times. It's gone from the lows to the highs, 1,064 days, 3 times now. This guy predicted 2 years ago the exact top of Bitcoin and nailed it. With that said, we are in this area here where Bitcoin technically isn't a Bitcoin winner. So there's just going to be a lot of volatility in both directions, which can be scary for investors. But for us as options traders, it creates opportunity because when we're trading options, volatility is actually a good thing. It allows us to hit those outsized profits a lot quicker. So last 2 weeks while Bitcoin got crushed, we hit 75%. Then we came back, or excuse me, we hit 95%, came back the next week, hit 75%. We did a trade on last Friday for a Bitcoin pop over the weekend. It wasn't the biggest trade ever. We made 16% over the weekend, but each and every Friday, I do share a perfect Bitcoin trade with my members. And the way it works is we try to turn $500, $1,000, or whatever it may be into 100%, 200% gains from every 1% plus move in the price of Bitcoin, which means we don't need huge moves to see big gains. So here's a 1% move. Back in December, we had a trade on it, made 137%. Here was a move where Bitcoin gained about 5% on the underlying, kind of similar to today. We're at 4.5% today. We traded it, made 284%. So we are going for outsized moves when Bitcoin is volatile. So far, we've got a 75% win rate. It's actually a little bit higher now because I haven't updated this screenshot here from last Friday when we had our 37th win. So a little bit better, 191% annualized growth rate, and people have been doing quite well over the long haul. Again, not every trade's going to win, but when we win, you can hit it out of the park like Rochelle did, or like Jennifer, or like David. Maybe David timed it up nicely when I had my first big webinar going into the halving, said this is the time you want to buy the underlying, the IBIT, and let it rip. David ended up, I think he said he ended up over $350,000 from that webinar. Now we don't have to wait years and years. Today, I'm hoping to get your name on the board next with another winning trade, thanks to this phenomenon. And these are all real trade results right here. that you can see when Bitcoin moves higher ever so slightly, we can hit it out of the park. So I'm going to keep this quick, but I do want to get this in front of you guys. If you'd like to get in on the next trade, which will be today, give me a yes in the chat. Post a yes in the chat. I'm going to hook you up. We're going to get you guys in that sweet special deal we ran on Friday last week. One more call here, one final call. If you missed out Friday, don't worry. Still got you taken care of. So today you will get an email alert, a Telegram alert, and a cell phone alert if you're a member on how we're going to be trading Bitcoin starting today. So I want this to be as easy as used for everyone on board. You'll get the quick analysis, the stock, which we're just trading IBIT, guys. It's the same as trading SPY or QQQ. IBIT, it's an ETF, very liquid options, very easy to trade in any regular brokerage. I'll give you the options as well. So it doesn't matter who you are, what brokerage, you don't have to miss out. And of course, I give you the exits too. Now, it's my goal to give you the very best opportunity possible, just like when we had back in April of last year, 193% on the move, enough to turn 1,000 into $2,000. Now, here's the cool thing. As you guys know, Bitcoin can go up and it can go down too. We don't have to sit on the sidelines when it's going down. Actually, some of our best money is made on those down arrows. I removed the blue up arrows here just to make it easy for you to see, but look how good these are. This is a custom coded proprietary indicator I built for Bitcoin specifically to flag the up cycles and the down cycles too. So of course, if today's trade is to the downside, we're just going to trade it the same way. We'll just use puts instead. Same exact process as always, just like the two winners we had back in June, 100% gain back to back, August 51%, or back in January, we hit back to back. This was just the other week, 75% and 95%. And these are not expensive options. You can see here 49 cents for each of them. That's $49. So of course you'll get the upside and downside alerts. It'll be the exact same, just calls, or we'll be using puts instead of calls. You'll get the trade tracker, so much more. And you guys know this, 18 months on the board of live trades. We're a little bit over 75% win rate now, over $87,000 in profit. That's based on 5K. So if you start out with 1,000, you're still over 20 grand. That's 20x return just by trading these IBIT options. So if you want in today, we're not going to charge $4 grand a year. It's not going to be $19.95 per year, which is typically what we've sold it for in the past. We ask you to buy the whole year up front and pay the whole price. What we're doing right now is while Bitcoin's in this extreme volatility mode where we have extreme opportunities in both directions, we're just going to get everybody on board, as many people as we can, to get a taste of these perfect Bitcoin trades. Just 97 bucks for a month. You don't need to break the bank. So we're going to post a link here in the chat, or you can go to prosperitypub.com/trade. Again, I tried to keep this quick. We've got more content to cover today, but I don't want anyone to miss out on this. So guys, we're going to have a new trade today. It's only 97 bucks for you to get a taste. If you like what you see and you want to upgrade from there, be my guest. I would love to have you on board for that. So what will the new trade look like? Only the members will know. Here's one we had recently an IBIT, 111%. You can see I take each of these with my own money, just like any of my programs. I believe in it so much. I'm not just cooking something up for you and telling you to eat it. I eat it myself too. Here was another one I took, $3,096 from the trade. So again, if you want in, I'm not going to keep this spiel going for long here. We've got more content to cover, but I did want to get this in front of you guys right now. Click that link in the chat. It's 97 bucks for your first month. That'll give you 4 weeks of trades on the perfect Bitcoin. If you want to upgrade from there, totally welcome to. Actually, on the next page, it will ask you if you want to upgrade today and save some money. If you do that, great choice. And looking forward to having you guys in the program, as Bitcoin is still moving higher right now. And if we look at the magic momentum, nice green pop today. So the members will get the trade alert later today.
Sweet, sweet. All right. We mentioned we have a lot to cover. I wanted to let Graham mention Bitcoin because it happens to be ripping right now, and today is the day of the trade. And then we also asked our man Alex to come on because we're just a couple days away from his big reveal. I promise we're going to talk about Walmart. We're 17 minutes in. I promise we're going to talk about Walmart here in a minute, which I'm interested to go through that data and get your feedback on what you think about Walmart, and maybe we'll even do a trade on Walmart. But a little more housekeeping. Alex, can you just give us the quick and dirty? You're just 2 days away from what you guys have been working on for a while now for Sunday night.
Yeah. So actually my man was it Pat talking about Pfizer. So Pat, I like Pfizer. I think it was Pat. Was it Pat? Anyways, someone in a couple minutes ago said they liked Pfizer, and I was like, hey, I like Pfizer too. Now Pat, the cool thing is I've actually built a software, right? I know Nate and Graham love trading spreads, right? Where you don't need a big move to make a big profit with spreads. So I was like, hey, I like trading spreads. Yeah, sure. But I really like trading long options where puts or calls, right? So I was like, let me see if I can build a software where I can I can find the long options, right? Just regular calls, level one stuff that can give those outsized returns and without having like a big move. So actually Pfizer is one of these that's on my software that I built. And basically, now that it's on there, the cool thing about this is that most people don't know this, but if you look in the options chain, there are specific contracts inside the options chain. If you're just looking at it, you're not going to see it. But there's secret codes in that options chain specific that lead to specific contracts that you can trade and still set yourself up for, double digit to triple digit winners. What's cool though, the stock really doesn't have to move much at all, if at all. And even sometimes it can go the opposite way of your trade. But just because these specific options contracts and the way they're structured, you can still have a chance to win. Even if the stock goes down, you can still get a winner, right? If you're on a call. And even if the stock goes up, you can still get a winner, even if you're on a put. And these are not spreads. They're just regular level one options. This is a really cool development that I'm excited about. I think Graham's excited about it as well. That's why I'm actually going down to his house on Sunday to reveal this to the world because it's really awesome. Like
Yeah.
normally with options, you don't like you need to get this huge move in stocks, right? Especially with long options, single leg options, calls or puts. You need a huge move in the stock to make it worth your while because you got to overcome what? You got to overcome theta. And you got to have that big, like you have to have that underlying move fast to make that option appreciate fast enough to overcome the decay. With these, though, we kind of flipped this on its head, and I've really never seen anything like it. The results so far, we've been trading this a little bit in my groups, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, and just to touch on this a little bit, I don't let everyone come down to my house. This was so special. I said, Alex, you got to fly down and see this. This is just a sneak peek of some of the content we'll show you Sunday night. Now, keep in mind, if you show up Sunday night, Alex is going to talk about a couple trade ideas for free, and he's looking for people to trade these alongside him. This is a brand new development. Looking for serious traders who are going to jump in and take advantage of this. If that's you, Alex is, well, at least he told me, he's going to be giving you guys a full year of access to this new dashboard for
Yep.
free. So you
That's
definitely want to make sure that you show up Sunday night. Don't wait till Tuesday to check this out. Now, here's a little bit of the content. This is what really grabbed my eye. Here's just a little sneak peek of this dashboard that he's been using. So this was on Gilead. So check this out. A $1.1 million alpha option hit on Gilead back on October 29th, right? And you can see this percent weight here. That's a huge number. I'm not going to touch it. We'll cover this Sunday night. That's a really, really big deal right there. Look at this. The IV percentile, 22%. That's relative to the last year. So these are options that are trading at a very low IV. When a big order comes in where the weight sticks out, that means that this specific option could pay double digits or more, even on a very small move in the stock. Now, in this example, get this, guys. This is a call option, right? I just showed you. It's a call option on Gilead. Over the next 24 hours here, this gets me really excited. The stock, did it go up over the next 24 hours? No, it went down. The stock lost about 0.05% overnight. It was flat, slightly lower. So if you're trading call options, and these are short dated call options, and the stock goes lower, do you think you made money on the call options or lost money?
normally you would think you would lose money because call options are bullish for the stock, right?
That's right.
And you have to
with
overcome
time
IV
decay,
usually.
these are, I mean, this isn't a spread. With time decay, you're getting eaten alive. However, because this was an alpha option, it actually gained 40% when the chart looked like that.
Which is insane, man. It's
I
so
saw this and I
cool.
said, I don't know what you're doing. We're going to have to dive into this a bit more and uncover what's going on behind the scenes. Now, obviously, when you get a move in your favor on the underlying, it works even better.
Yeah.
For example, here's one 885% here. Obviously, that one moved in the favor, 128% here, 145% here. But the cool thing is, here's a good example on Palantir. You don't need a crazy move because of how these are positioned. They're uniquely positioned that when one of these big orders comes in, they can gain a lot of steam even when the stock's gaining a little bit of ground. So again, Sunday night, it'll be free to show up.
Yep.
We'll talk about a few trade ideas for free as well. And if you want to go ahead and join the trading experience, that pilot group, Alex is hooking you up with a full year of access for free. So tune in Sunday night.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be
forward
awesome. The thing about the alpha idea is that it's actually exactly the opposite of the reasons I don't like options. The whole reason I don't like options is you buy an option, you have to overcome this IV, this volatility cost. Alex basically saying, well, actually, if you buy the right one, you benefit from that IV moving in your favor, which is quite interesting. Obviously, you'll kind of see the nuts and bolts behind that Sunday night. But looking forward to that. If you guys aren't registered, I think Dave posted the link. But
Yep, it's pinned to the top of the chat and it's in the announcements.
there you go.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on,
Thanks,
guys.
Alex.
Look forward to seeing you all there on Sunday.
All right. See you guys. All right. Well, let's jump in and talk about Walmart. This is our Friday focus for the day. Someone said something about not pitching or selling something at the front end of opening playbook. Guys, we don't do that. I mean, Graham just doing a quick Bitcoin update for his $97 special. As far as I'm aware, is the first time we have ever even dropped a link like that in the beginning of opening playbook in like a year of doing this. It's usually always an hour of content before we even say, hey, we also have this going on. So I think we're normally pretty careful to try to make sure we're delivering value on opening playbook. But every once in a while, there's something going on. We want to make sure we get it in front of you. And we do operate a business here. We do want to make sure you guys get access to our services. That's part of what we do. So hopefully you're willing to, go with the flow on those kind of things.
Christine said something nice. So pitch what you need to. Totally worth it for the trade ideas and training. Thank you, Christine.
Thanks, Christine. All right. Let's jump into Walmart. So if you guys aren't aware, Walmart's a pretty big retailer. They sell lots of stuff. I'm sure most of us. Give me a yes in the chat if you have ever been to Walmart. Give me a no. There's got to be at least five. There's got to be at least like 2 no's in here for people who have never been to Walmart. But I just want to
ask. We should have just asked for no's because now we're gonna have a flooded chat.
Well, I know, but I just want to see the participation. It's just crazy. There's only a couple. There's so many stocks we talk about all the time. But there's really only a handful of stocks in the entire world that people have like a real relationship with. They're like, oh yeah, I know that company. And Walmart's definitely one of them. My wife told me like 3 years ago that Walmart was going to take over like the Target trends, Graham, like TikTok and whatever else, the mom people.
The mom people.
The mom influencers. That's what I'm looking for. The mom influencers. They were all going to start talking about Walmart, and she was right. So I should have bought a lot more a couple years ago. I think we got at least one no. We got at least one no from someone who's ever been to Walmart. But anyway, Walmart is a defensive stock in terms of how it plays. It's really a consumer staple stock in its actual correct sector. For most people have it in XLP because it's heavily weighted in XLP, which is staples. Interestingly, going through this, guys, I was a little surprised at how underwhelming the financial scores were. So I'm curious on your opinion. The way that Friday Spotlight works is we go through all of the Spotlight, all of the different elements, and then everyone gives Walmart a score, A through F. A, it's an amazing stock and we should all buy it right now. F, it's a horrible stock and you should sell any shares you have. So that's how Friday Spotlight works. Hang tight. We'll go through all of the elements and then we'll all grade together. And we actually might have a trade on Walmart. Wait, no, guys, don't give it a score yet. We got to go through all the data first. You got to wait. Okay, wait. Hold your opinions. Retract all of your scores. Okay. For me, I was actually kind of surprised by the way some of the numbers. Anyway, profitability, profit margin 3.3%. Pretty low. Obviously, I think that is somewhat deflated because of tax reasons, and you can only trust the accounting so far. But anyway, 3.3. Revenue growth quarter over quarter. Honestly, just insane that Walmart can still grow. I don't understand how some of these businesses are able to continue generating growth, but Walmart has. Debt to equity, little more dangerous than I would have expected. We'll get into that number here in a moment. And then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the analyst consensus as well. But key financials, you can see revenue on the last quarter, a small $180 billion for Walmart, $6.1 billion in net income. Pretty good numbers for a retailer. People used to say that retailers could never put up those numbers, and now we have Walmart and Amazon. Here's our market summary. Walmart trading right about $132. This is a little stale because I did this, 40 minutes ago or whatever. RSI, fairly neutral because of the pullback today. We're seeing 52-week high price of just 1.8% away. Why? Well, because we hit it like 2 days ago. And then you can see just some of the quick numbers. It's well above the EMA 20, well above the 50, well above the 200. Let's jump into a couple of the accounting numbers. I won't go too deep into here, but you can see this is net income versus operating cash flow. Pretty healthy across the board. I mean, we've seen a little bit of a drop here on the net income, but overall, Walmart is pretty healthy. Cash flow versus net income, accrual quality, all their kind of core accounting as you would expect, pretty good. Here's the one that kind of surprised me. Walmart's debt to income is not as healthy as I would have thought. It looks more like a tech stock on its long-term debt here at $34 billion. Short-term debt makes sense because they're a retailer, so they're buying and selling. And so the short-term debt on the float in between, that makes sense. But the long-term debt threw me off just a little bit. So they have it listed as current assets at $92 billion, current liabilities at $115 at a net negative $22 billion capital. That's not really true. That's more of how Walmart does their accounting. But still, the liabilities there, definitely a bigger number than I would have guessed for Walmart. Here's their earnings. You can see as we go, this goes back to 2020, so about the last 6 years. They were right on schedule here. And then we saw them really pick up the EPS in 2023 and 2024. The EPS dropped back off over the last year. Someone can correct me on this. I'm not 100% sure, but this EPS might have dropped off because they added a bigger dividend. I think they're almost at a 1% dividend. And that might have been what happened here in 2024, where they just traded some earnings EPS for a dividend. But someone in the chat, if you want to fact check me on that, I'm guessing that's what that drop was. And that's why we saw, up and then back down. And then you can see their earnings surprise history. They went on this beautiful run here, which we traded this, by the way, if you were with me in 2023. Again, my wife said they were going to do this, and she was right. Really started out revenuing everyone's expectations, which, a retailer's, especially a defensive retailer, is really not supposed to be able to pour on surprise revenue beats. And Walmart was doing it consistently. And it has slowed down here, as you can see, over the last couple quarters. Had a big drop in the middle of 2025. We saw that pullback that kind of reflected that drop, but I think is back on kind of the recovery side of that, and we're seeing that as well in the stock price right now. All right, here is the income side of things. I won't bore you with most of these numbers. As you can see, Walmart is very healthy. Their margins, very consistent. Their total revenue, exactly what we would expect. Balance sheet, more of the same. You can see here, Again, that asset to liability is a little surprising to me. But going back to 2024, that seems to be about their comfort zone. Again, not what I would have guessed, but seems to be what they've been kind of comfortable with. And then here's their cash flow breakdown. Here we go. Just as you would expect with something like Walmart, pretty much just staying right in line, not getting big ebbs and flows. We're not going to see NVIDIA or Google ebbs and flows in Walmart. As far as the value and expectation, we've got a PE ratio of 45. Notice that the forward PE, not super attractive on Walmart. Why is that? Well, because no one's projecting that Walmart's going to have 20% growth, right? No one's projecting that Walmart is going to, all things being equal, have a huge gain in net earnings and therefore have a big growth in the PE. Because if you have big earnings, then your PE goes down, makes you more investable, you make it back up in the stock price, right? So if I am trading the stock's at $100 right now, and my PE, my price to earnings, is 40, but my earnings are going to go up 25%, well, then my forward PE would be slated at 30. But assuming it actually doesn't go down to 30, and really what happens is the PE stays at 40, what that actually means is the stock is going to go up to 125. All right, does that make sense? Everyone see how that forward PE number plays in here? If you have big net earnings growth, the forward PE is going to be lower, but in reality, what's probably going to happen is the PE is going to stay the same, and what's really going to increase is the stock price. And so you really want to see the ability for the PE curve to go down, because what that really means is probably it's going to stay the same and the stock price is going to go up to match that. Okay. So with Walmart, it's going to be tough to see that, just simply because they're going to have a tough time growing revenue by 20% or net earnings by 20%. That's a lot of what the big AI talk has been with Amazon, Walmart, and other ones. Can they get a quantum leap in their net earnings and change the game? And we'll see, if they're able to do that. It's going to be tough for something like Walmart. The infrastructure of Walmart is just unbelievable to really move the needle in significant fashion. Market cap on Walmart, yes, that's a T, $1.07 trillion. Enterprise value 1.12. There's your PE numbers, your PEG, price to book, all the stuff that I don't really tend to care about showing up there on Walmart. But if you want those numbers, there they are. All right, here's price. We know Walmart struggled for a while here. Got that dip. Like I said, they had some earnings challenges last year, had that dip, have recovered since, and been a really great stock here in 2026, significantly above all moving averages. You can see it here. Trend regime clearly up. Momentum slightly overbought, but still pretty healthy. And then you can see, here's where we are at relative to our 52-week high and our 52-week low. We're 66% above the 52-week low on Walmart. So basically it's been a monster. You can also see, by the way, here's the historical RSI, the historical oversold. What do you guys notice about the historical oversold side on Walmart? This puppy does not get oversold very often. There's not even a crack of 20 here in the last year and a half. When Walmart gets oversold, especially when it's in this positive trend regime, it's basically an automatic buy as soon as it's oversold, even if it's close to oversold. So Walmart has been a beast. On the price side, now again, the fundamentals, okay, but on the price side, it's been a monster. Anyone know what this volume spike is? Walmart is pretty steady on the volume side of things, kind of a core, well traded, meets expected numbers. Then we have a crazy volume number here. This is Walmart being added to the NASDAQ.
Is that the day of the month you shop for your kids?
Yeah. This is when we get our groceries delivered. This is when they got added to the NASDAQ. You see that insane change in volume there on Walmart. It was obviously a positive day as well with all the buying pressure in there. And here's my favorite tab. This is the options positioning. I really like the options positioning as context for what's going on with Walmart. It takes a minute to load because it's pulling a whole bunch of options. So this is going to give you some interesting numbers. It's going to give you the current IV rank, which is a little bit on the high side right now. This one's fun. IV versus RV. So this is the spread between implied and realized volatility. If it's a positive number, it means prices are priced above actual movement. So right now, what this is saying is that Walmart options are a little overpriced. And that's going to play into our potential trade idea here at the end, if depending on how high we rank it, how good of a score we give it. Very normal skew here on Walmart, nothing crazy to see there. And our put to call ratio, which we'll look at here in a minute. This is what we call the options pressure map. It's just looking if are we getting some outsized pressure at one level or another. Not really. You can see our strikes to the upside here are about 135, just 2% or so above is where most of the pressure is for Walmart. So we're not getting a crazy big pressure point in Walmart at any individual stock or any individual strike. Here's my favorite down here. I like looking at these expected moves. About a 7% expected move over the next 7 days. That's just using the strangle price. And then you can see over the next 28 days, about a 10% move. Over the next 90 days, about a 16% move. So again, the market makers are predicting quite a bit of movement in Walmart, actually even faster than Walmart is moving right now. And we can see the put to call ratio is definitely bullishly biased, but it's not dramatic. We're not at 0.7. Okay, so we're still in very neutral buying pressure ranges here on Walmart. So I think it's very buyable. I don't think we're overcooked. Put to call is one of my favorite things to see if we're overcooked. Are we jumping into a trap on Walmart? Let's take a look at the seasonality of Walmart. Are we in a good time to buy Walmart? Well, not really for February, but we're about to get into March, which is pretty attractive. What this is just a heat map I built that shows the plus minus for every month. So January, going back the last 10 years, February, the last 10 years, just kind of balances out this heat map so you can see visually how it performs. March and April, pretty solid. Their cumulatives are quite nice, 2 and 3%. If we want to go even deeper, I'm just doing the last 10 years here. If we want to go a little bit deeper, here's all the way back to about 2000. So that's about 25 years of data. March still holds up quite nicely. Cumulatively, it's the second highest after November, and it has a pretty nice win rate, the highest win rate actually, at 73% of months of Marches being positive over the last 25 years. So there you go. Those asking about the dashboard, this is a dashboard I just built for Opening Playbook. So I built this entire dashboard just for Friday Spotlight for you guys. It's not a thing I sell or a thing I bought from someone else. I just built it specifically for you guys for Friday Spotlight. Here is our analyst consensus. Okay, so you can see analyst ratings for the most part are a buy. Target price on the recent was 131, so it's actually a little bit below because we've already hit that consensus price. The target range, 119 to 145. Average trend by period, basically just saying, hey, does Walmart tend to hit those analyst targets? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, they do. And then if you want to look at who thinks Walmart is a buy versus not? Well, guess what? They mostly think it's a buy. We've got a couple holds in here, not a lot. One sell. No, actually we have 4 sells. I'm sorry. I undershorted the sells. We have 4 sells. William, Wolf, Oracle have it as sell, but most of the people have it as buys. And you can kind of see the big dogs up here have consistently had Walmart as a buy over the last year. Recent upgrades and downgrades. If you guys like the analyst data, here it is. Last downgrade was in 2023. So again, haven't been a lot of negative looks at Walmart. All right, here's a fun one. Just actually put this together early this morning for you guys. Added this that we didn't have last Friday. Insider activity. What are people doing on the insider side of things? Well, traditionally, we're always seeing more sells than buys, right? If you guys look at any insider data, because people who, have owned shares for 20 years, 30 years, they're always selling off shares. And so you're normally getting a net negative. So the net numbers are pretty much in line with what we'd expect. So the real question is, are we getting any outsized individual transactions? And we're not really. You can see here, we're not really getting any outsized individual transactions on Walmart. The last one that we have that was significant was this 45,000 share buy in May of 2023. That's really the last big one that we got. So nothing really calling our attention here on the insider side. But I really like this dashboard. I like seeing what the activity's been. Do we see a spike that's crazy? I mean, again, 26 sells, a little bit of a negative ratio, nothing to worry about. That's normal. If we see someone selling 100,000 shares and then we see the CEO doing that and then the CFO doing that, then you start to get a little nervous about them knowing something that we don't. News sentiment. This is also something I just added. Basically, this just pulls headlines. It just says, hey, what are people talking about right now? Are they nervous about Walmart? Are they positive? Mostly bullish, a little bit neutral. Recent headlines are mostly in favor of Walmart and the consumer staples in general. You can see these are the recent headlines. It's just all I'm doing is taking these headlines, ranking them, and then putting them into a score to see, hey, are we mostly positive here? Are we starting to get cumulatively bad news on Walmart or somewhere in between? You can see net bullish for sure on just on the news side. All right, and then our last one here, which is our competitive context. So the competitive context is just going to rank the other stocks that are in Walmart's same sector across the core fundamentals. So we're not looking at price. We're not looking at momentum. We're not looking at options. Just looking at the revenue growth, the margins, the EBITDA, forward PE, all of that. What you can see is that Target, after that beatdown, is looking the most undervalued here. Kroger would be in that same ballpark on the PE side of things. Interestingly, Costco, that is a little bit overvalued, but the revenue growth looks really, really good. And their margin is expanding about the best. And then Amazon, their PE is actually lower than Cost and Walmart. Forward PE expectations for Amazon lower than Walmart and Cost, which I would not have guessed. So I probably actually would have ranked Walmart number one, to be honest with you here. But the algorithm did the scores. They ranked Cost as number one. And then I think Target is an interesting one, because if we look at Target, after the beatdown that we had on Target, we're still this far. Oh, wait, maybe even a little farther. Oh, yeah, hold on. This far away from the highs. Okay. Walmart is right at the 52-week highs, right at the all-time highs. This is how far Target is off the pace of Walmart. And you can see, boom. this is what Target and Walmart had done. Remember when Target was opening that huge lead on Walmart back when Target and everyone was, everyone was talking about it and Instagram and all those kind of things. And it was the cool store and all the memes were about my wife spends all of her time at Target. It was opening this huge gap on Walmart. And since then, this is what Walmart has done. I mean, if I just scroll up a little bit more recently to where we're about neutral, Walmart has beat Target to the tune of 180% to negative 60%, which, is basically a 300% net advantage for Walmart. All right, guys, what do we rank Walmart? Everyone, you can now put your score A through F in the chat. Walmart, obviously a monster of a stock, but maybe a little more overvalued than you would have guessed before we went into that. Would love to know everyone's score here on Walmart. And then we'll see if there's a trade because the options are showing just a bit overpriced here. Let me see if I can go ahead and
A lot more
look
variety in these responses.
Yeah, we started off with lots of A's.
Yeah.
Wow, DraftKings down 13%, by the way, today.
PO is fairly confident. It's an A triple plus.
We got 2 triple plus A's I saw in there.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. It's
I'm
not
not sure I'm
down as
that
much.
confident about anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm really bummed right now because Walmart just during this session has already turned around. I really wanted to buy it right at this top. This is what I thought would be a great buy, right at 131 here at these previous little tops.
Yeah.
This is what and we were getting right close to that at the open, but we've already kind of turned around. Don't have as much room as I thought would be nice, but we could still look for a trade. I'm just waiting 1 more minute for all of your scores to come in. Yep, we've got well, that's why it's overpriced in the longer term, but it's actually overpriced, I think, in the shorter term as well. So I wish Walmart added the 3-day expirations. We could trade a Wednesday. Yeah, earnings on the 19th is why we're seeing that IV a little bit higher here. You can see it jumps up to about 57% on the 20th, and then slopes right back down into that normal range. Someone asked about Income Machine. Yes, it's one of our top stocks on the Income Machine. The 3 out of 5 right now. It didn't have a stabilizing, which is one of my favorite metrics, click. But of course, we do have momentum. We do have long-term, and we do have short-term trend on Walmart. We'll see what the Income Machine likes. Wow, not a lot in the balance. I guess that's probably because of the move already happening today. We can only get about a 0.37 cushion on the more aggressive. We can build something that's a little more defensive, though, if we're willing to settle for less than the cushion that the Income Machine wants. So Income Machine's not going to give us a balanced trade because it wants a bigger cushion. But we could be a little more aggressive, and we could go for this 130 cushion, which would be well inside this market maker move. Okay, the market maker move jumps up to $8 here, about 7% because of earnings. But if we're willing to risk it for the biscuit, we can take something inside that expected move and get some value here at above the 130 number. This is about as cheap as you're ever going to see this, simply because earnings is coming up and we're trading inside the market maker move. All right. Now remember, if you want to take this trade, there's a very, very important way that we trade earnings. And we like to do it when earnings is at the very end of expiration, which it is here. Okay, let me walk you through this. I know I'm going to get people in opening playbook next week saying, wait a minute, earnings are coming up. What are we doing? Very, very clear way that we trade when earnings is inside our range. So we would be taking a trade right here at 130, but we would have earnings. Well, actually, let me do it this way. Let's make it a little bit cleaner to see. But we'll have earnings right there. Was it after the close or before the close?
It's before, I think.
Is it morning?
I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, morning. Okay.
Yeah.
So really, earnings for all our purposes are on the 18th, not the 19th. So we'll have earnings there. That is only going to be a couple market days because Monday's closed, right?
Yeah, Monday's closed.
That's
yeah.
only 2 days. All right. That only gives you 2 days. Again, that's probably why that value is so good right now at 65 cents. The way we trade earnings is really simple. If we move up into earnings, we close the trade before earnings. And we take our 20% or 15% or 18%, whatever. We basically take our money from the IV increase and from the price increase and say, I already have a profitable position. I'm not going to risk it on earnings. However, if price is down or sideways, we hold it through earnings. We basically say, hey, I'm wrong. I didn't get the trade right, but I now have earnings as a second chance to get the trade right. So they're basically 2 trades that live inside of one trade. The first trade is kind of the free ride IV. You get some IV increase, you get some time decay, and if you get some price, you can probably get a good chunk of the value before earnings even hits. That's trade 1, what you're going for. Trade number 2 is I'm wrong, but now I'm going to let earnings try to bail me out as a second chance. The idea is that if I have a 50% probability to win on the first one, plus a 50% probability to win on the second, even if I'm wrong, then my net probability is actually higher. Okay, does that make sense? Just give me a yes in the chat if you understand, because I want to make sure everyone understands 2 separate trades are living in one trade here, and you have to manage it that way, or else you can fall into the opposite where your trade was up, and then you come into opening playbook saying, Nate, I was up, and then earnings tanked, and now I lost the money that I was up. We want to avoid that situation. We only want the opposite situation to have the potential to occur, which is that I'm down. I did this on Amazon, on Option X, if you guys remember. Option X, Amazon was on the final day of expiration. I was down on the trade, so I had to hold it through Amazon earnings, hoping Amazon earnings would be good. They weren't, so I lost Amazon. But I was losing on the trade anyway. And so the net return on risk potential makes sense to hold it through earnings in that scenario. All right. So we can get the 129, 130. Dang it. Moving up again. Come down, Walmart. Oh, this could have been such a nice trade if we did it right out of the gate.
I posted it while you were talking.
Oh,
so
thank
people
you.
might have gotten in it.
Okay. Try to use a limit order here. I think it's still good value at 70, but I really like it at 65.
Oh, and I wrote the words max ROI and then I never calculated it, but 35.
Well, 35. It's going to be
35
over.
on 65 is 53, 54%.
Yeah, it's over 50%, which is nice. So if you can get 25% early in the game,
Yeah.
you're going to really like it. I'm going to change this to a day order. I'm going to just leave it as a day order, folks, because I think the market's still shaky enough that Walmart could easily just jump back into this high and we could get filled. Okay, is that? Jen said everybody loves Nate. I don't know, Jen. I feel like I'm getting some grief in opening playbook lately.
It's a rough crowd today in particular.
I'm losing my luster, I think, Jen.
Yeah, we get people yelling at us to stop advertising and take trades within 4 seconds. And
here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. I love doing opening playbook. I love giving content. I hope it's valuable for you. I hope you guys learn the amount of time that Graham and I spend to build 100 long slide decks to teach how to do a debit spread, how to do a wrap order, how volatility works. Guys, that's a lot of effort and time that I'm trying to invest. But I also do sell products. That's what our business does. That's where our business makes money, is selling services. that we really believe in. Now, I build all of those services for me first. So I'm not building them, just so I can try to make money, but that is a pretty core, important part of what I'm doing here. And I always want to make it, net positive value. And I guess I don't mean to have a dad moment here and harp on this, but I guess the thing that frustrates me sometimes is if people just say like, oh, all you guys are doing is selling stuff. Well, like, no, first of all, not actually. I spend more time educating than selling. I'm live 2 times a day with education. But of course, the other thing is you guys can take full advantage of me. You can show up to opening playbook, closing playbook, and never buy anything that I offer. And I'm totally good with that. So, like, I don't understand the complaint of yourself. You don't have to buy anything. You can just take full advantage of me. Only show up to my free stuff for the rest of your life. Never buy anything from me. And I think you will have a pretty good deal on your hands. So anyway, why am I on this soapbox again?
Well, just, a few people are upset and you want to try and point out that we're trying to pay the rent as well as give them good information. A lot of very supportive comments. My favorite one though is that you should hit the gym.
Wow.
It was in the more positive light. That's my spin on it. It said, I hope you still find time
Okay.
to hit the gym.
All right.
So it's more about it's more about
I was
you.
going to
But
say, wow, the crowd really is rough today. If we're getting,
just the idea of you hitting the gym, I think is fun. Graham would, faint.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway,
Yeah. Lots of positive feedback. Thanks,
I just wanted to make the point. Thank you guys for by the way, I do love and I do feel like it's 90-10 positive, but sometimes, the complaints show up more in the chat than the positive. That's just part of life. And I'm totally good with that. And by the way, just to be 100% clear on this other note, guys, I don't mind criticism. I don't mind, hey, Nate, you said Walmart was going up and it went down. Hey, Nate, you were totally wrong about Apple, because I was. Like, I don't mind that at all. That's real. That's trading. It's honestly why are you guys selling me stuff that like kind of throws me off, because, I don't think that's accurate, number one. And also, like, it is kind of what I do for a living as part of, I run a business and I trade. So that part is the one that throws me off, not the, hey, Nate, you got this trade wrong or whatever.
Yeah. And listen,
so guys,
the losses, the thing that's hard, I think, is when somebody joins something new and their first trade is a loss. Because
100%. That is tough.
That's the hardest thing, to be like, look, we told you losses would happen. It's not more often, it's less often, but it's gonna possibly happen on your first trade.
Yeah. No, that is definitely tough. Also, guys, I have that members only at 2:30 today. For you guys who've been wondering about the market map thing, and I keep saying, hey, I'm going to get it up. We'll make it really easy. Speaking of selling stuff, we'll make it really easy to get. I am planning on charging a very whopping price of $3 at the end of our members only class. For all of you guys, because I mean, Dave, this has probably been our most popular comment over the last 6 months. How do I get the dashboard? How do I get the sector view? How do I get the bubbles? How do I get the things? And I keep saying, I'm going to figure out a way to get it to you. I'll charge basically nothing. It's not meant to be a trading premium service. It's just meant to give you context. I'll figure out a way to get it to you. So I'll cover today at 2:30. Really, the main point of 2:30 is just to walk you through this map, how I use it, what it's good for. And then if you guys want to jump on it, I have a incredible high-end offer for you that will be approximately $3 if you want to start using it. And if you don't, I don't care. It's just literally for the people who have been asking for months and months if you want to get your hands on that. So 2:30 is when that members class is. I'll walk you through all of that.
Yeah, it's a member of any of Nate's programs, including Opening Playbook. So if you're not a member of any of Nate's programs and you want to attend that, here's the link for the $1. Cheapest way to become a member of anything is the $1 Opening Playbook membership. It's really just $1 for lifetime access to a whole bunch of tools and training and everything. Best dollar you'll ever spend.
And by the way, yeah, David, I already posted it in HQ. I already posted in the HQ Telegram, so you should have a link. Just scroll up in the HQ Telegram. Actually, I'll post it again today, David, for you. You just chop right over into the channel. It's free for you. I just unmuted myself on accident. Also, guys, the tool is not going to be for members only. So I'll give that $3 link out at some point to everyone. I'm just going to cover it with the members first today and give them kind of the inside scoop and all of that. So if you don't want to become a member and you just want the dashboard, that's fine. I'll drop the $3 link for that at some point here soon, probably early next week even. I just wanted to give the members kind of the first scoop and spend a little extra time going through the context of everything. So that's at 2:30. I don't, Dave, should we end on a high note of me saying shameless plug? Let's play Income Machine for anyone who has it, because I've just been bashing you over the head with Income Machine for the last week.
We can. Is there anybody here who doesn't have the Income Machine?
Is there anyone in here who's mad about me selling stuff? Because you probably exit the.
Is there anybody
exit the
here
room
who
right
would
now.
like? Is there anybody here who would like 3 free trades a day for the next 30 days for free?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you know what? The Income Machine, they definitely can't be mad about selling. That's even the next layer.
Yeah. Anybody want three free trades? So basically 66 free trades over the next month. All right, then we'll roll that footage.
All right. That's what he's referring to, guys, is that the Income Machine is actually unique in terms of me selling my stuff. That one you can actually try for free before you even decide if you want to use it. And then you can upgrade if you want, but you get 3 free trades a day with the Income Machine. You don't have to pay a darn cent for that. So that's and you guys, I mean, most of you, I'm sure, have seen this or trading it, because I just hammer people over the head that this is, I think, the clearest, most fundamental way to trade if you like the way that I trade. But if not, try it free. Heck, join Income. You know what, Dave? I just realized something. If they do the Income Machine for free,
Yeah,
they'll still be in one click and get the 2:30 invite today.
that's true.
So actually, that's even cheaper than the $1. That just occurred to me.
Oh man.
So,
But my paycheck is derived from the $1 things. So you just hit me hard.
Yeah, there you go.
I get paid off the $1 membership.
Dave's
so.
entire salary is the
Yeah.
10% commission of the $1
Yeah.
After credit card fees, which means that he owes us 50 cents per
right.
purchase.
I have to buy you a cup of coffee for every $1 membership we sell.
So
Yeah.
Jen, as you'll see, if you don't know, the Income Machine is not an alert service; it's a dashboard. The free trades show up in the dashboard. So
Yeah. You can use it at your convenience. You can trade it whatever time of day you want.
Christine, Dave does work hard, and he gets a full hour of abuse from me every day as a thank you. What more could you want?
I mean, hour and a half if you include closing playbook.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm still working on getting Kane to abuse you more. He's way too nice, but
He is. And you've done a good job though of making up for the fact that Graham is no longer on closing playbook, and anything you might have taken out on him has shifted to me as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So I appreciate that. Thanks.
I doubled down. Yeah, perfect. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Here's the Income Machine, folks.
So today you guys are going to see the first income tool of its kind. It's designed to give you different choices, different options, all done for you. And that way you can find the one that you find most appealing. And today, by the end of the class, you can unlock the newest income opportunity today. No payment necessary, nothing like that. Like Nate said, no strings attached. Now, the trades expressed today are based on signals that the Income Machine generated with the benefit of hindsight. And while today's guest, Nate, has been using this tool with great success in his own trades, including a 93.3% win rate as of this last week, with a 4.92 profit factor on live signals. Well, you guys know that that's great, but there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, so let's be smart here. Now, every example today is based on $2,500 unless otherwise stated. However, this is important. You don't need $2,500 to get started. A lot of these picks are as cheap as $100, $200. Some are even like $50. Now, the stories that we're going to share today were from real people who submitted their story for us to showcase. We did not meet with anyone one-on-one. We did not advise anyone's financial situation. We don't do that. We're publishers, not financial advisors. Now, each person makes their own decision when it comes to trading. So trade at your own risk, and you can see the terms on our homepage for more information.
And by the way, thank you for all those incredible stories you guys sent in.
We ended up with over 1,400. We asked for 500. We got over 1,400.